With the arrival of the Final Fantasy VIII event, Quistis has become the free unit that is obtainable by repeatedly clearing Lunatic Pandora. The last free unit, Lightning III, was such an incredible free magic tank that essentially ensured that you wouldn't need another magic tank for a long time. With that being said, how does Quistis stack up as a free unit in this current meta? Alright, so first off, when Gumi gave us a sneak peek at her skills, I initially thought she was just a magic whip user. I was wrong. I suppose I should have expected it, as one of her advertised abilities is Bad Breath. For those of you who don't know what Bad Breath is, it constantly ruins everyone's day. Jokes aside, it's a move that is commonly used by enemy monsters, not actual units. In short, Quistis is a blue mage. Cut me some slack, I didn't play Final Fantasy VIII. That aside, let's get into this. The majority of Quistis' abilities are locked, and have to be completed by finishing quests. In this case, it's as simple as bringing her along during the event runs. There's no reason not to, since she also brings along a high boosted event currency drop bonus, unless you already have 6 7-star forms of Lone Lion Squaws or Cypher. But before we talk about her locked abilities, let's talk about her unlocked ones. She has one unlocked active ability. Furthermore, it is a cooldown ability and isn't even available until the 6th turn. On the other hand, it has an extremely high modifier, so she's well suited to becoming a magic finisher, though that's not to say it's her best row. With that said, her limit burst can deal an incredible amount of damage if you can chain it, as it only pales by a small margin compared to her cooldown ability. It also further increases her own magic attack stat, so it's a good idea to max this limit burst out if you plan to use her without a buffer. Now let's talk about her passive abilities. She has an innate dual wield, which is kind of rare for magic units. Furthermore, she's immune to blind and confusion, as well as charm. That was quite a nice touch when I decided to read up on her lore. She also deals increased damage to avian and machine type monsters with 75% killers for both. Finally, the MP costs are actually 10% lower than what they should be due to an innate passive of hers. And on top of that, she has an automatic 5% MP regen each turn as well. Equipping her Trustmaster reward or Super Trustmaster reward will further boost her stats. Speaking of which, her Trustmaster reward, Seed Upperclassman, increases the magic stat by 40%, as well as increasing both HP and MP by 20%. It also reduces MP consumption by 10%, so this is an excellent Trustmaster reward for any player, especially beginners. Her Super Trustmaster reward, Save the Queen, is a powerful magic whip that further increases the magic stat if the unit is wielding 2 weapons. This makes it far more incredible than it first seems, and I absolutely recommend buying this from King Mog. Even if your magic damage dealer can't use a whip, you can still get an equipped whip materia from the Land of Unskippable Dialogue in Season 2 of an optional story quest. Now we can get to her blue magic, which is unlockable by completing the missions during the event. Laser Eye is pathetic, and Acid's breaks aren't that significant. Bad Breath has a good chance to inflict every status ailment on the enemy, though it doesn't deal any damage. You might actually find yourself using this more often than you might think. Micro Missiles can deal 93% of the enemy's health bar as damage. But as you might guess, it's treated as a gravity attack. Enemies that are immune to death are most certainly immune to this attack, making it next to useless. Mighty Guard mitigates damage by 40%, boosts your team's limit burst gauge fill rate by 150%, and fills it by a decent amount. It's a nice group of effects, and stat-wise they're all above average. White Wind restores 20% of your unit's HP and MP, as well as putting up an automatic HP and MP regen for 3 turns. The rest of her magic attacks chain with the Chaos Wave Awakened families, which is convenient since most of the best mages do so in the first place. Electrocute is the weakest of her chaining abilities, though it decreases the enemy's lightning resistance by 100% and fills the limit burst gauge by a bit. Aqua Breath and Fire Breath are essentially the same, though they're stronger than Electrocute and Imperil Water and Fire respectively instead. Gatling Gun is her strongest chaining move, but if you're going to imperil the enemy, it's better to just stick with one of the elemental chains instead. Ray Bomb is a weaker form of Gatling Gun, but unlike Gatling Gun, it can hit multiple enemies. So if you take a step back, Quistis is all over the place, which makes a bit of sense for a blue mage. Unfortunately, as with all blue mages, Quistis suffers drastically in one regard. She cannot cast multiple abilities in a turn. Blue magic cannot be dual casted either, so Ludmo's Trustmaster reward won't be any help here. Honestly, the inability to cast blue magic multiple times really puts a hamper in their potential. Though, admittedly, their performance would skyrocket if they could do so in the first place. But that's not to say she's bad. Blue mages are incredibly versatile, and Quistis just might be able to provide something that we lack. She can imperil fire, water, or lightning by 100%, give your team 40% general mitigation, raise your team's limit burst gauge fill rate, restore and provide a regen on both HP and MP, as well as bringing along some respectable damage of her own. It's not right to think of her as just a magic damage dealer, since she can provide so much more. Units don't have to be consolidated into a specialized row, and it's something that we can realize in real life as well. People are diverse and have the ability to do many different things. This simple truth is often forgotten when we search for someone who can fulfill a specific role. There's nothing wrong with that, as it is an objective that you have to accomplish anyways. But just because a unit isn't the best in one aspect, doesn't mean that they're next to useless. Quistis is an incredibly versatile unit that can serve as a healer, supporter, chainer, or finisher, and can be an incredible backup in the case that anything goes wrong. So let's create a rotation for her. Quistis does not have any self-buffing abilities except for her limit burst, so it's best to use that as early as you can if you want to get that magic buff increase. I advise using Mighty Guard on turn 1, as its helpful effects aren't often something that a team initially casts. White Wind is used on a need-buy basis, and you can use the rest of her magic chaining abilities once you've increased her magic step by using her limit burst. You can use her cooldown ability at any given moment once it's prepared. However, it is a one-hit move, so you have to use it like any proper finisher. To be honest, it's probably better to actually bring a proper finisher if you can instead of bringing Quistis. After all, she's a versatile unit, not a specialized one. With that being said, if you already have all of those rows covered in set, then you may as well get her just because of her Trustmaster rewards and Super Trustmaster rewards. Her Super Trustmaster reward is especially valuable, and is definitely a reason to throw your team against the Iron Giant repeatedly.